Good evening, everyone. This is the Air Conservation Commission meeting. It is Thursday, May 12th, 2022. Due to the ongoing COVID-19 pandemic, in accordance with Chapter 20 of the Act of 2021, suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, the OML, public bodies otherwise governed by the OML are temporarily relieved from the requirements that meetings be held in public places, open and physically accessible to the public, so long as measures are taken to ensure public access to the body's deliberations through adequate alternative means. This meeting will be live on Zoom. The public may participate remotely by joining Zoom, and the meeting ID number is 840-4058-0886, or by calling 929-205-6099. For additional information about remote participation, please contact Conservation Commission at concom@ayer.ma.us or by calling 978-772-8220, extension 143 prior to the meeting. Commissioners in attendance this evening are George Bacon, Jess Gugino, Mark Phillips, myself, John Schmallenberger as chair. I didn't tell what people did. Jess Gugino is the clerk. Mark is the vice chair. I am the chair. Absent today is Jenna Maya as a member, and we have with us Heather Hampson, who will soon be our full-time conservation agent.
And don't forget, George is a member, having
In
got
good standing.
chair.
George is a member in good standing. Do we have confirmation of agenda?
Yeah, I had put on there something about Catania oils and some questions they've raised, but they haven't gotten back to me, so that we won't be doing anything on the agenda with that.
Okay. Anything else?
That's it.
That's it. Motion to approve the agenda as amended.
So moved.
Second.
It's moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. Roll call vote. George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
I
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Confirmation is approved, or the agenda is approved. Do we have the approval of meeting minutes for April 22nd, 2022? Any changes? Anyone found?
It's a very page and a half of minutes. That's a record.
Yeah.
Mark, you missed a really long meeting.
It was like 45 minutes, wasn't it?
37.
37.
Yeah.
Wow.
So
So hearing no changes in the meeting minutes, is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes for April 22nd, 2022 as written?
So moved.
Seconded.
Moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. Do a roll call vote. George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote?
I
Mark, how do you vote?
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Passes unanimously. Go ahead.
nothing on budget or announcements.
Okay.
So
I won't even bring them up. At this point in time, we will look for public input. If there's anyone out there viewing or listening, if you have any comments, questions, now's the time. All righty, hearing none, then we will move on. First item this evening is a discussion on 9 Jonathan Drive, Caleb Ford. Mr. Ford, you are with us this evening, I see.
Yep, I'm here.
Great. How are you this evening?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
Good. No, I'm great. Today was just amazing day. Would you please tell us a little bit about your project?
Yeah, so basically I just have a slope in my backyard and I want to basically take and level the backyard out, pushing the material from one side to the other, which would basically not encroach, but just basically push material towards some wetlands, I guess, next to the house here.
This is that wetland drainage system that we've encountered on a few other properties in that area too. So,
Right. Yeah. And you've been out there, I'm assuming, Jess?
yeah, I'm just trying to think where I had some pictures. They have disappeared from my computer screen. Oh, there they are. Yes. Let me do that one. And Caleb, you had talked about initially just wanting right now to create a playground, a level playground area for your kids, but that down the road you might want to do a.
Yeah, there was potential for down the road in the future doing an addition, which would then move the driveway to the right of the house.
Okay. Can everybody see this?
Yes.
Okay, that I believe is your wife.
Yep.
But that's
Posing nicely.
that would be the slope going down to the wetland system.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is how we should handle this.
As an RDA or notice of intent, you mean, or?
Right, or to what extent? Yeah, I think George, you'd had some thoughts when this was mentioned a month ago, I think, about if it was just leveling out a playground area, it might be okay. George, you there?
Yeah, if they're staying within the grassed area, I don't see it as any an NOI.
Okay.
Did you have more than one picture of that, Jess?
Yeah. Let's see, can you see this one?
No, it's the same.
Okay, wait a minute. I think I have to close out one. This is where I'm not the most apt person.
If you're in the street and you're looking at the house,
Yeah.
are we talking the slope beyond the fence or next to the house itself? Where are we talking?
Okay, this should give you a better sense.
Okay.
Yeah, so basically there where the fence is, I'd wanted to pull that fence up, level that out, and then replace the fence basically, so there's not having that kind of slope down to the right.
Okay.
So would you be going beyond the fence to do the level?
Probably a little bit, maybe 10 feet or so.
But still in the grass.
Pretty
Right.
much. I mean, there's some leaves and whatnot there, but I mean, I'm still a good distance off from the. I don't really know what like the distances are, as far as regulations or
Yeah. So what you want to do is scrape material from
the left side
from
of
the
my yard,
left
push to the
side.
right. Correct.
Push it to the right and then have a fairly steep slope on the other side of the fence. making
Yeah,
it look-
exactly.
Yeah.
Would you be putting up any sort of, I guess, retaining to keep that from?
So
sliding
there
in?
wouldn't be any retaining wall at this point because it's just all material there. There's not going to really be any
Mhm.
real weight, I guess, distribution out there. If down the road with the driveway getting moved, I probably would have to do some sort of retaining wall with engineering, since there would obviously be cars being driven down that area.
And here's another shot showing the corner of the fence and then what would be beyond it if you wanted
Right.
to go about 10 feet.
Now, would you stabilize that slope with grass or some planting?
Yeah,
sometime?
I'd put something back in there to, obviously to help hold the material.
From this picture that Jess has on the screen now, is this tree coming out or what? Or is that, are you not going that far?
I probably wouldn't be going that far right there. I can actually, I don't know if I can maybe go outside and put my camera around and kind of just walk through and show you guys.
Oh,
I have no idea how to arrange that technically.
I think he would just have to share his screen. Oh, yeah, there he is. When he
All right.
when
I
he
don't know,
does
is
his
that
video, he would
facing
just be
towards
showing
me
it.
now, or?
it's towards you now.
All right, let me see if I can flip this around.
Okay.
Hold on, there it is. All right.
There we go. Jess, could you pull
So
your,
basically,
Oh, I'm having
Jess,
technical
Jess, if you
difficulties.
can stop sharing, Jess, maybe.
Ah, okay. How do I do that? Oh, stop share. That does it.
can everyone see that? All right.
Yeah.
yep,
So basically, I would just be taking and pulling, obviously taking the fence up, taking from the slope back here, bringing that material this way, and just kind of leveling this up and just slope down area.
yep. Yep. Anybody have any questions, additional questions for
Well,
Caleb?
I would say this should be handled with an RDA and possibly a site visit by all of us.
Yeah, I would say an RDA.
Yeah.
I mean, that's sort of my opinion. Mark, how do you feel about it?
Yeah, I think so. I guess I would like to do a site visit only because it just looks more steep than it's being described, and I guess I just want to see it with my own eyes.
Yep.
Okay.
How do you feel, George?
George, you have quite the pause going on tonight.
I agree with,
Okay.
Do you agree?
yeah,
Um,
yeah, I agree with Mark.
okay. What is your time frame for starting the project?
I mean, there really isn't one right now. I just was kind of dipping my feet in the water and seeing kind of what kind of paperwork and stuff and permitting, and if it's even possible or whatever needed to be done first before I even kind of embarked on anything.
Yep. Yeah, I agree. We should do a site walk.
So maybe doing the site walk before filling in an RDA would be advisable. We could all give some good input there.
Yep.
Um,
I'm actually going to be away this weekend, so I can't do it this weekend. If you all want to go out and take a look at you, I trust all you guys. Otherwise,
what about the 21st?
The 21st. I think it's okay. How about with you, Mark?
What is involved in RDA that you guys are talking about?
Oh, it's actually a really pretty simple application form. I could help you a good deal with that.
Okay,
But I think what we want first would be to have a really clear description.
understanding on what's going on.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah, I think right now the 21st would be okay.
Okay.
Although, I mean, if we wanted to do it this Saturday and just get out of the way, if it, even if that's just Jess, Mark, George, and myself. That'll be fun.
How about you, George? Can you do it this weekend?
No, I'm not available this weekend. I can do it the 21st.
Okay, all right, well then the 21st it is.
9 o'clock.
perfect.
Is that okay, Jess? I know it's early.
Fine with me.
Okay.
All right. Good. Okay, then we will meet you on number 9 Jonathan Drive on May 21st at 9 a.m.
Beautiful.
Take a look. All right. Well, thank you for joining us.
All right, thank you guys very much.
You
Okay.
betcha.
See you in a couple weeks.
Okay.
All right, bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
And Heather, did you want to come on that one?
I unfortunately have plans that Saturday,
Okay.
so that one I can't do. And unfortunately, they're early, so that one I cannot do. Otherwise, I would. If you were going this Saturday, probably could have swung it, but that day, that one I can't.
This is the sidewalk dance.
Right.
Yeah,
Yep,
it
yep.
happens.
All right. Next item this evening is passing over Catania expansion. We're going to a discussion on the special conditions boilerplate draft review.
Okay.
And you have some updates for us.
Well, it's still a work in progress. One of the things in terms of, I was starting to in on the pre-construction section. And we have old orders that, this would be for the larger projects. We have old orders that had them for the bigger projects that required a pre-construction meeting. And some of them said the erosion controls had to go in before the pre-construction meeting. Others had erosion controls going in after the pre-construction meeting. And I was just wondering if anybody had any thoughts on that.
Why would you have erosion controls going in before the pre-construction meeting?
So you think after?
Well, I don't know.
Well, but then we get into more simple residential projects and there is no pre-construction meeting because it's a small homeowners project. And at that point, it's put in the erosion controls and then we inspect and then they get going.
Well, it's kind of two different things though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is the pre-construction meeting supposed to be attended by the conservation agent?
Yes.
So I
And
think they kind of-
often,
Two birds with one stone.
yeah. And then often, depending on the subdivision or the project, it might also include, say, the DPW, or I don't know if the building inspector goes on those. Heather, you might know on that.
So in the past, when I've done pre-construction meetings, typically they're for the larger scale projects. So when Littleton with the 40B project went in, it was a pre-construction meeting that included all town departments, planning, building, DPW, the engineer, I can't remember who else was there, and conservation. So we all did our pre-construction meeting at the same time on site.
Yeah.
In Ayer here, the only pre-construction meeting that I've attended that I know they had a big one on was when All Town went in, and that was to give everybody an opportunity to meet all the engineers and the contractors and everyone working on site. That's typically what a pre-construction meeting is for. But yeah, pre-construction meetings in my experience have all been done with multiple departments at once for large projects. When it comes to smaller ones, it's more or less you just going out and inspecting silk fence. The silk fence is typically done. I'm trying to remember when I did the one for the 40B, if it was already out there. I think it was, but I can't remember because that was like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But they're all a little different because yeah, pre-construction meetings, depending on the size of the project, are going to be different.
Yeah. Right. Okay, so I'll keep playing with that and I'll probably try to have couple different versions depending on the project size.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Yeah, it's just, I've had everything all laid out, playing around with little pieces of paper different ways. It's coming. But it's not my favorite project. So, and then down the road, this would be, I'm terrible at computer stuff generally. But Heather, do you know formatting so that if we create a new special conditions order, that boxes can be
Yep.
put next to each item and?
Oh, yeah, like the bullets, the check boxes. Yeah, I get all that. Yeah, I can do all that.
Yeah, because George had the suggestion of, at some point about having an order of conditions, our special conditions, where we just check the boxes that apply for most of the things.
Okay, yeah, no, that's easy. That I can do.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, good. I won't worry about that one. Okay, so that's all for that one.
That's all for the boilerplate?
Yeah. For
Okay.
now, that was my little sticking point. The draft conservation restriction for Shaker Mill Pond.
Yep.
Anybody have a chance to look at that?
Yep.
And Heather, did I send you this? I'm still, if I didn't, I'm still getting. my head
That
around.
one I don't believe I got.
Okay,
I've been putting everything that you've been getting me in a folder in my emails, which is probably, I don't know if Cindy can tell me about next week what I should be doing with these, so that carry over when I go down, but yeah, they're all in a folder on my email drive.
you're dealing with a senior memory here on my end.
I've had 3 pregnancies. I feel like in COVID, I'm right there with you.
Yeah. So did anybody, any of the other commissioners have any comments on the draft we have?
Is this going before town council?
Not yet, but
I mean, but it will,
it will eventually, yeah.
because I don't understand what half of it says.
Oh, yeah, there's a huge part of it. I just like, yeah, that would be town council ease. I think one of the things I think that we, that I will beef up for them would be the description of the property or the conservation values. Because there are a number of things, right now they just give 2 very, general things about protection of open space and preservation of wetlands. But on this particular site for Shaker Mill Pond, we had a bunch of things that should be described in the conservation restriction, which would include the remnants of the Shaker Dam and the mill. A little bit about the history of quarrying on the site where there are gravel pits. He had that glacial erratic, that outcropping we persuaded them to preserve.
Mhm.
That needs to get described. So I went through the conservation analysis that Oxbow did, and I can lift out a bunch of things just to put in some more specific identifiers for this particular parcel that should go into the conservation restriction. So basically this will, we'll do a back and forth with Dan Aho's lawyer, and until we're all sort of happy with what we have. And eventually I think we can get North County Land Trust to look at it as well. But it's not you need to get the process started, but it doesn't have to finish anytime soon because there's no state reviewer still.
Yep.
But at least it does have to be on the road. So.
Yes,
Anyone else have?
I did not review this in total, but in just reading through quickly, item number 4 about composting.
Yeah.
Right. The last sentence says no such activities will take place closer than 100 feet from any wetland, water body, or stream. Inclusive of those 3, would that be the federal vernal pools that were on that property too? Or do we need to call that out separately?
Well, they had said that there were no identified vernal pools on that property. There were two federal sort of wetlands. Were they called vernal pools?
You're thinking of the same thing I am. I just don't remember what they were. So that's what I'm saying. If we could just check that maybe.
Okay. For composting, okay.
And then the other thing too, I thought remember we were talking with Jeff, what, didn't this have to be in place and ready to go before the first occupancy, I thought?
Technically, yes, but because the state reviewer quit last year and the state hasn't replaced that person yet, that's a glitch in the process that I think the planning board has to come up with a means of addressing that with Dan Aho, some means of surety, because it doesn't seem like it would be fair to hold up the whole process or occupancy because the state doesn't have somebody in place. But
And that's okay. I guess as long as we're done on our end and it's, it's just
Right.
being held up by that special situation, then
right,
and that's okay. But I mean, if we're not even ready and they're starting to, like you said, if they're looking for certificates of occupancy and we haven't even done our due diligence, I just want to be sure that.
yeah,
it's timely.
that's why we're starting this rudimentary review of the draft now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Any idea when the first occupant may be looking? Because I thought their houses look pretty far along.
Some of them do. That I don't know.
Jess, if you would like, tomorrow when I'm in the office, I can go through the first two building permits that were issued and just see what inspections were done on there, and that will give an idea of where the houses are in the process.
Okay, that would be great.
Yeah.
Okay,
Thanks, Heather.
Yeah, you're welcome.
What's the situation where you would be composting stumps anyway? I mean, why would you do that?
good question.
Well,
Um,
it might not be, excuse me, based in this situation, it might not be so much of a stumps issue, but brush, trees, limbs, anything else that they start to take down. I think they just put the, everything plus the kitchen sink in there, John, would be my assumption.
But I guess my question is why? Why are they doing it at all?
Because they have a whole bunch of open land.
I guess maybe, would this be to prevent people from bringing stuff into the conservation restriction, natural material to dump and allegedly compost? This would be a preventative for that.
Okay, I just don't, I read that too, and I'm thinking,
Yeah.
It does say materials originating on the premises, so it can
Right.
be brought in.
but normally in a conserved area, when a tree falls down or a limb falls down, you just leave it where it lays, and unless it's on the
So-
trail.
There is something in this about the removal of invasive species.
Mhm.
So definitely would not want to compost taken down invasive species on the property. That would sort of defeat the purpose.
Right,
Yeah.
I don't know, I just,
I'm guessing this is a generic item that's included on most.
yeah,
Yeah,
well, as we found out, sometimes those generic boilerplates are a problem.
yeah. Okay,
Anything else? George, have you looked it over?
No, I haven't.
Okay,
all right. Okay, well, that will be continued.
Yep.
Anyways, okay, so that goes into updates. And for updates, the Creasers are going to be on our next agenda with their RDA for the stairs, hopefully with a good drawing.
Good.
Lori Nearing is going to be on our June 9th agenda with an RDA for her water chestnut pull. And I guess she was in there today with somebody from National River Watershed Association, and they actually located underwater where the water chestnut patch is. So they did their first round of sampling today, so
Oh, great.
that is good. The letter I wrote to the Realtor who's showing that property on Groton Harvard Road, the waterfront, undeveloped waterfront property, they did send out the certified letter, which you all got, and they did pick it up, so we have the green card receipt. Haven't heard anything more, so that's all on that. Long Pond Dam. Had a phone call from a resident today saying that the level of Long Pond has gone way down really fast, and that the community dock for Pondview, it states, it's now sort of leaning at an angle. And his dock is also, the docks are looking like they haven't looked before with the drop in the water level. I contacted Mike Callahan, Beaver Solutions, because the resident had wanted to know if the intake pipe was set too high or too low, something like that, and more water was getting out of the pond than should. But Mike Callahan correctly said that, well, no, the pond level is set by the spillway itself, and the leveling device shouldn't affect that. I'm not an engineer, but that sounds right to me. In any case, I contacted the resident, and he wrote back just before the meeting that they still think something seems amiss. This is one of the Badgers, so it's lifelong resident, so he has a lot of experience with how Long Pond looks over the past many decades. He sent some pictures, I'll forward that email, but he's talking about the incline on the dock. It is usually level, but he would have thought if the pond level had reached the level of the spillway, they wouldn't still be seeing water flowing torrentially in that area. Anyway, is that, so basically, I don't know why some areas seem drier to residents that never were dry before, but the pond level shouldn't be lower than it's ever been. It's restricted by the spillway. Water is still coming out the spillway at the Long Pond Dam. So any thoughts or suggestions?
Are there flashboards in that dam? Do you know, Jess?
No,
There's no.
it's just comes across as concrete and then a little box
Right.
top. And
Who
then,
maintains that, Jess? Is that DPW?
yeah, except once we put in the beaver deceiver, then the maintenance of it is more on the beaver deceiver maintenance, because the DPW hasn't had to clear out that dam. So maybe I'll put the resident in touch with Dan at the DPW.
Hey, Jess, just a thought, because I know what happened here in Pepperell. That doesn't tie over anywhere near the Nashua River, does it?
No, it Long
Okay.
Pond flows into Sandy Pond and then Flanagan Pond.
The dam here in Pepperell broke, so the Nashua River dropped quite a bit.
Yeah,
Quite a
I
bit over the
saw
last 4
that.
days, and then
Yeah.
they just dammed it back up again, so everything's just off. So I just wanted to make sure it wasn't from that, because that
Yeah.
would have made a difference.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
eventually flow into it, but not out of it.
Jess,
That's
I
the
guess-
thing, it broke upstream going towards Groton, so.
Yeah.
That's
Yes,
all.
I was
There's
just
just
thinking,
a
you know,
thought of,
if
it's gonna
Dan-
affect everything way upstream, so it was just a thought.
Okay,
Yeah, if Dan could maybe just send somebody just to take a look and make sure something wasn't undermined and is flowing underneath that, we're not aware of. I guess the only other thing would be, should they check the dock and maybe hasn't lost its footings underneath and now is leaning over merely because of, whatever, settling or things over 20 years now.
okay,
They might want to just do that, I would assume.
okay.
And
So
those
I'll-
docks never come out,
No,
and they have to be affected somewhat by the ice and
well, then you wonder when the new deceiver was put in, a lot of water got released fairly quickly, if that had an effect. And then you combine it with suddenly the weather's drier. We're not used to it being this dry, we haven't had as much rainfall recently as we're used to for the past year.
And it's
All right.
been very,
Okay.
very dry.
Mhm.
Okay, so there's that. Just an information on, so the meeting I went to last night for the ZBA with the Affordable Housing Committee was a discussion of Air Commons. That's the Chapter 40B that will likely go in across on Fitchburg Road, across from the Shop and Save. They're starting to move that process forward. It's likely they'll get their comprehensive permit application before the zoning board later this month, and then it's going to be many months to go through this process. One of the things I just thought I'd mention, I asked last night, if somebody was asking about water sewer connections, and where they're building on Fitchburg Road, I guess the closest water sewer connection is about 2,000 feet away. So their other option would be to bring in water sewer from Isaac Lane, which is on the other side of the wetland system that goes across the back of this property. So down the road, that would probably, if that was their solution, that would be probably a horizontal directional drilling project.
Mhm.
And they were asking about timing on that, and I don't think there's any rush on that. They have to go through a whole comprehensive permit, funding, etc. It'll be some time before they'd be ready for us, and they don't even know if that's going to be what they need, but that might be coming down the road. So just to give everybody a heads up.
Okay.
Stratton Hill, they are likely talking now about coming back before the planning board with a preliminary subdivision plan at the end of June, on the June 28th meeting. So we will, I think, have to reissue our RFP for third-party review of the conservation analysis. I think whatever the quote we got from BSC Group back in January is probably out of date now, just because of inflation and the rising cost of everything these days. And I gave a copy of our draft RFP to Bob Collins, the attorney for the project. I also sent one to Ann Gagnon, Fish and Wildlife, to see if she had any comments, because if this goes through and Fish and Wildlife winds up sort of being the holder of a version of a conservation restriction, I just thought I wanted to make sure, or see if she had any input onto things that we should include in the conservation, in the third-party review that might not be there. So haven't heard back from either person yet. So then the last two things would be, one, a decision on what our next meeting will be, is in person or via Zoom, and also then the update on signs from Commissioner Phillips.
You want to do a meeting status first?
Well, can we, since you guys said you couldn't vote on it because I wasn't here, now Jen's not here.
So
Well-
we could keep to Zoom next meeting then,
Yeah. There seems to be good reasons to
unanimous.
continue with Zoom on for the time being.
Yeah, I suppose the fact that, yeah, that's a good reason.
I mean, we can definitely put it on the agenda to take the vote, and it would be essentially the, what, June 9th meeting, then would be our, potentially our first in-person meeting for.
Yeah.
Since whenever.
It could be, or else we have till July something or other, right?
15th.
15th.
Yep.
Just how I know I don't love them. George doesn't love them, but we've been doing them for 2 years. And what's another 2 months?
Right. Okay, so that's all I have for updates.
So signs, I think I had tried to include you all as much as possible. I'm waiting for an updated quote, proposal, whatever, from what's the name of that company? Sorry, Liddell.
Yeah.
Based on the input that we had received and what I think I mentioned to you guys last time I was here, much less expensive than what the other place was. I did reduce the sign count to basically eliminate Nashua River altogether because
It's not worth it.
nobody wants us to play. It's, yeah. Welcome to the political and legal ramifications of being anywhere near anything that anybody has any interest in. So
Yeah.
we dropped it down to 11 locations that basically are are under our control within the town of Ayer, and I think it's pretty sufficient. And so with that, again, it's much less signs. We have fewer poles, fewer anchors, things like that. We will have the option then to take the anchors and just pound them in the dirt or put them in cement. Again, I'm still an advocate of, we gather up our muscle one weekend and do a couple, maybe a couple this weekend, with the following, maybe next weekend, do a couple more, nothing, not like we're blasting them all out in one day.
Yeah.
And we might even be able to find, some helpers, some volunteers, maybe. I think we should still entertain that too. So, maybe even just dropping the material off at Sandy Pond Beach and letting the workers there or whatever, or the park person, maybe take care of that themselves. Just say, hey, this is location, we can call UFPO for them, but once we get the clearance, we'd be all set, with the dig safe and everything. So a couple different options, but basically once I get that in, then I'll just send it around. Do we want to vote on that proposal, or just we want to go ahead and order right away, I guess is the question. I don't know if we need to vote on it. I think Robert just cuts the checks, you were saying, right, Jess?
Yeah. Well, Robert okays payment of invoices.
Okay.
And then, but our office specifies the account number, and we do have a particular account number for the grant, so I now have that straight.
Okay. So that's kind of where we're at. I think, again, I think you processed or are waiting for Robert to process the approval of the remaining $80 for the sign designs. Excuse me.
Nope, that's gone to accounting.
Okay.
Robert approved it, so.
Okay, so all the
It's just
sign
now on
designs are
there.
complete then.
Yeah.
And we have all the files. So then that's just something that I would take, or, whomever would take, send that on to Liddell and let them go ahead and create the signs, make the signs, manufacture them. They said they'd get us the posts, and more than likely could, for the 5 posts the 6 posts that we need, they could cut them in half for us. So they end up being 12 5-foot posts. So that would work out really well. And they'll deliver everything to Ayer, which I'm assuming when they say that, they mean to the Ayer DPW. So
Right.
we could just ask Dan to keep an eye out for them. Once it's identified, the delivery would be coming. And yeah, then we'd be set to go.
Was there a qualitative difference in the signs that would be produced by Liddell versus Express signs?
I didn't get the impression that there would be. I basically copied from the Express sign quote what they should be. I asked it's Kristen from Liddell. I said, hey, is it we want a QR post, or we want a QR code on this. Will that be a problem? She's like, no, we've done QRs before and things. And I said, okay. And they'd be aluminum, rounded corners, 2 by 1 foot. I'm under the assumption they make all kinds of different street signs that last multiple years. I don't know. Maybe they are the ones that make the stop signs. I have no idea where DPW gets all their stuff from, but sounds like this might be the place. Who knows? But, again, it sounds like they're in the business to do this as it is, so.
Yep.
I think we're good. I could ask her for, can she provide us like a location of one of their signs that has been produced, and we could go look at it, or could they send us a picture of it, I suppose? If, again, didn't really think of that, Jess, but
Okay,
I think we could do that, I suppose.
okay.
But yeah, that's basically where we're at.
It's great.
Questions?
Almost there.
Yeah, we only have until September, so we do have to kind of get a move on now.
Yeah.
Yep. Anything else?
Do I go ahead and tell them to produce then?
I think so.
Okay. All right. As soon, well, when I get the bid back or the quote back, again, I'll send it around to everybody and just say, we're going forward. George, is there anything else I missed, do you think, or what?
Can't think of anything.
Okay. Sounds good.
Oh,
right.
I've been including the environmental monitoring reports for solar too, and
Yep.
they've been having trouble fixing their erosion controls. And I guess the word is that they're having trouble getting the hay bales. They're in short supply at the moment. So I did send an email to Rohit that sort of nicely suggested that, oh, by the way, when you do get your hay bales, get more than you need, because one of the conditions in our order is that they maintain a stockpile of, and in their case, 15% of the amount of hay bales they use, just so they can repair hay bales. So they should have had a stockpile already there, but they didn't. So I have not heard back though. So, but once Heather comes on board and Jen's recovered from her illness, then I'd suggest we schedule a group site walk to several sites and catch up.
That'd be good.
Yeah.
Anything else? From commissioners? Anything from anyone viewing, listening?
I just have one thing, John, just so you guys all know, I had a gentleman call my office today with a boat ton of questions, living over on Pingree Way, and one of his things he wanted to do, which I didn't see an issue with it, along 110 on Littleton Road, where he lives on Pingree, there's a whole mess. I double checked to see who owns it. It's town land. It's a wetland back there, and he just wanted to clean it up. So I thanked him for wanting to do that, encouraged him to, you just pick up trash and this and that, and not to remove, full logs or anything, because then it becomes a conservation issue. But I wanted to let the commission know that if anybody calls or sees that a gentleman that lives over on Pingree Way may or may not be going through that area and picking up trash over the next few weeks.
Yeah.
I hope that no one minds that I told him that it was okay as long as he didn't pick up logs and move a bunch of, disturb the wetlands at all, which he said he wouldn't. But yeah, I thanked him for wanting to do that.
Yeah, picking up trash is good.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
no.
sounded perfect.
Yeah, thank you, Heather. Anything else?
Think we're good.
Think we're good. Motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second,
Was moved by George Bacon, seconded by Mark Phillips. Do a roll call vote. George, how do you vote?
Aye.
Jess, how do you vote? Mark, how do you vote?
aye.
Chair votes aye, passes unanimously.